Good morning and welcome back to Not So Grand Garage. This morning we're out working on the flatbed again. I lost headlights. The marker lights and everything work, but the headlights quit working, which is a somewhat common problem on these trucks. And it would be an issue with the headlight switch. All of the current from the headlights is ran directly through the switch. There's no relays or anything in this system from the factory. So the contacts in the switch are likely burnt up. I'd venture to say that switch has been replaced before, but I've never messed with it. So we're gonna go on and rip this switch out and get it changed out. Because of how much of a common issue this is, these switches are cheap and readily available. I think this one was 12 bucks, something like that. Perfect. And yeah, here it is. And anytime I replace the switch, I like to replace the pigtail that goes with it. Reason for that is these are notorious for melting and burning up, so just replace them both. The pigtail's like 10 or 15 bucks. The switch is 10 or 15 bucks depending on what brand you go with and what series you go with. But yeah, so I'm gonna go on and rip this dash apart and show you how to do it. Now, this piece here, of course this truck is a 90, so it's a Bricknose Ford. This piece here is just clipped in. Your knobs here, which are, as you can see, the one for the lights is already off. These just pull straight off. They've got a little metal retainer. You can grab right here, push on from the back side to release and pull off. And then the trim piece will just pop straight off. There's clips all the way around. As you can see, mine's a little different because of the switch panel, which you saw that installation in a previous video. So here we are. We're going to take these bolts here out, and that'll give us room to get down to the switch. You can already see, it's probably hard to see on camera, some wire nuts down in there. So more than likely someone has replaced this before and did a hack job of doing it. So we're going to pull this out and see what we got to work with. And here we go. Now yours might not look like this truck being a Lariat package. It's got intermittent wipers and all that stuff, which is this control box here and this harness. But this is the harness we are concerned with, and yeah, that's nice. I like that. So we're gonna rip all this out, cut all this factory wiring back a little bit, and splice the new harness in, because I don't like how this looks. However, I may compare the wire gauge and stuff. If this harness is in good shape, I may reuse it. I may just fix it, because I want to look at this real close. But the wire gauge in this harness looks a bit lighter than what this is. But yeah, I'll pull it apart and see what we got. So the harness itself looks to be in pretty good shape. There's no burn marks, no evidence of this being hot or anything like that. Typically what you'll see is this block will actually be melted, but I'm not seeing anything like that here. So I like the wire gauge, the wire sizing on this a little bit better than what I've got on this one. This one looks, I mean, the insulation's lighter right off the bat. So I may just send this back and reuse what we've got here. I'm going to pull all these wire nuts off, clip some of this wiring out, and splice it all back together using butt connectors with heat shrink on them. You can also solder this in. Either way will work just fine. Don't use twist nuts or wire nuts, whatever you want to call them. They come apart with vibration and everything else, and like that may be part of my problem, but I doubt it. More than likely it's the contacts in the switch. They're notorious for failing. Now, these switches and this harness, as a matter of fact, are used in countless Ford vehicles. It's super common. Might post a list up of what all vehicles they come in. But yeah, you should be able to get these pretty well anywhere. Any parts store will have one on the shelf. At least, well, nowadays you never know, but used to be they'd have one of these sitting on the shelf for 10-15 bucks. So anyways, let's go on and we're gonna get this switch pulled off of here, and I'll show you how to get this rod out, because the switch does not come with a new rod or knob to turn the lights on and off. So we're going to pull this switch off the bracket, and I'll show you how to get that out. To release the rod right here that actuates the switch, pull it all the way out. You have a little button right here. Push this button all the way down, and then this should pull out. But in this case, it is not wanting to, so I'm gonna have to get some pliers or something like that. Okay. Got our actuating rod out. I'll go on and clip it into the new switch. There we go. And I'll go on and install this back on the bracket. There is a little locating tab and a groove right here that locates the switch for you. So it can only, it's supposed to only sit one way. You can put it pretty well any direction, but the locating tab's not going to line up. But yeah, get the tab in place and lock it back down. Now, we got the switch mounted back to the bracket, and if we weren't replacing this harness or doing any work with the harness, that would pretty well be it. Put the screws back in the bracket and you're done. Probably takes a whole of 10 minutes to change the switch out. But being as we've got to fix this garbage, we're going to take a little bit longer. So really, all in, you'll probably have maybe 20 minutes, half an hour to replace the harness, replace the switch. Let's go on and get this cut apart and see what we've got to work with, and go on and splice this back together the way it should be. Okay, got our harness repaired, bundled the repaired section together just to take a little bit of stress off the wiring. If vibration and stuff, just less likely to pull these apart. But yeah, so what we're going to do is tuck all this back in the dash. This here is a control box for the intermittent wipers. So I'm going to tuck it in first. Over there. And we're going to plug our headlight switch in. Make sure all the connections are good. And at this point, I'm going to go on and turn the headlights on and see if we fixed our problem. Now here in the near future, to keep this problem from happening again, I will be adding a headlight relay setup. I've got a relay box that I'm going to be mounting under the hood to run the aftermarket stuff, accessory stuff in the truck. But I'm going to put relays for the high and low beams in that box as well. It's one of the reasons I don't want to run a kit, because I'm going to set it all up myself and I want the relays located in that box. So we'll cover that when I get to it. But anyways. And other than the knob that I have apparently misplaced, we've got the dash put back together. Like I said, really simple, quick fix. Took half an hour to rework the harness and replace the switch. If you're just replacing the switch, it's about a 10-minute job. But anyways, I've got to get ready for work, so I'm gonna call it here. If you have any questions, comments, drop them in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Appreciate you watching.